Hey there, Editor Mark here. I'm just popping in here to let everyone know that we had some audio issues, a little bit of desync during the episode, but we hope that you bear with us. We thank everyone who's been here, who's being here, and who continues to show up. We love you, we appreciate you, and we thank you for being here.
Welcome back. How's everyone doing?
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yeah!
Season 2.
Season 2, we're back. We're all back. We all made it. I'm so excited everyone could make it tonight, both here in the game and viewing. Thanks again. It's been a long time. What it's been? It's been what, 2.5 months?
Yeah. Let's see. Let me
Mark, you're muted.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
been,
maybe even close to 3.
It's been coming up on 3 months since our last stream. It's been a while. A lot has happened. We've grown a lot as a channel, as a group, as a club. I want to thank everyone for making it back to season 2, making it back and bringing all the characters with us. There's so much to share. I know we've been working hard behind the scenes, getting ready, making sure everyone has their characters in line and ready to go. We have some new characters.
A lot of writing.
We have some new characters to introduce over the next few episodes and some new storylines and stuff to share. But I'm going to get to all that. But once again, thanks again for tuning in, watching us tonight. Tonight we have the whole crew with us from the first season back. Myself, Matt Roberts. I'm playing Vilenio Sai, your local resident Astral Elf. And I'm also here with our great, wonderful, amazing DM who's been working so hard. Mark, take it away. How you been?
I'm doing fantastic. I've got a lot of fun story all written up. I've been doing a lot of writing. But we're already a couple minutes behind, so we're going to go ahead and jump right into it because we've got a lot we want to get to today. I got a bit of a big monologue. So let's start with introductions. Of course, I am Mark. I'm your DM. We are running a modified Light of Xerixis Spelljammer campaign. I've done a lot of rewriting on this because I felt that the Light of Xerixis itself told a large story, but didn't really give a lot of it room to breathe. So I've added a lot to it. I've added my entire own location, series of villains, good guys, what have you, and a much deeper potential connection to the Planescape universe. So, with me today, of course, already having introduced himself like a legend, is Matt playing Vilenio Sai. We also have Alex playing our bugbear.
Hey all, welcome back. I'm glad it's can't wait for season 2, man. It's been far too long. Actually, January 20th was the last one.
Jeez.
Really?
It's almost 3.5 months.
Good Lord.
All right. We also have General Czar, played by...
I'm Josh Robertson, and I'm playing your Astral Bug Pirate.
And last but certainly not the tallest, our rootin' tootin', straight shootin' Tin Man, played by...
Hey, Dayton C here. Happy to get to it. I've been cranking for this character for months now. It's like jostling, like, just gotta get one more hit on him. Come on. When are we gonna start?
All right, and without further ado, let us regale ourselves with the previously on Echoes of the Astral Sea. Our cadre of adventurers found themselves taken in and cared for by the kindly people of an academy built to educate and prepare people of the Sword Coast for travel and survival in the Astral Sea. Having found themselves in the Sword Coast for various reasons, some harried by pirates, others driven by desperation for answers, and more reasons besides, the party individually partake in the succor offered. Where briefly they found respite and some stability despite their troubled near past, they soon find their presence drawing in more hostile attention. Of their first day of classes, to ensure they were still seaworthy, the party finds itself in the middle of a large-scale attack on the Academy. A two-pronged attack that crippled the structure of the Academy, leaving the structure listing mid-air. Zar was face-to-face with an individual who would claim to be, well, him, and left with a cannonball to the chest for his troubles. Tin Man was visited by the specter of Silver Liner, a sort of mentor and apparent friend to Blip, who turned out to be his faithful firearm, affectionately referred to as the Dove. A long-barreled, burnished silver hand cannon that had seemed to form and fit to Tin Man, and with devastating effect to those struck by her rounds. Realizing the stakes are higher than anticipated, the staff of the Academy sought to hurry what was clearly an inevitable decision. To leave the Academy and take residence in a place called the Great Belt, where they can bring the education and knowledge they carry to those who have fewer opportunities. First, though, Mert, a jovial and high-spirited individual, alongside his austere bosun Tarto, warm-hearted Canon Lord Commodore Crux, affable spelljammer Abjan Serth, and the skittish but ever-helpful Mr. Blip, make a request of the party. A dead drop left by some unnamed allies on a planetoid at the end of Toral space on the homeworld of the Beholders, Hakatha. But first, they'd need to clear the ship they were to use, which contained a retrieval team sent to allegedly procure an individual called the Tin Traveler. In the weeks it took to reach Hakatha aboard the procured Tyrant ship, the party found some stability and companionship amongst each other. Skarok formed a fast friendship with the galley cook Rybeck and the rookies tasked with accompanying them, even starting a daily jog to keep everyone in shape. The arrival at Hakatha and the subsequent retrieval of the dead drop was far from stable, however. Valen chose speed over discretion, unveiling that this was indeed not only a random cave, but a newly established nest of Nosfero rust monsters, a variant from the Great Belt bred to consume non-ferrous materials, usually kept under tight watch for this exact reason. Reaching the dead drop, Valen was overwhelmed by an artifact they were sent to retrieve, shedding a sinister light in which he saw a disturbing vision, causing him to flee in a mix of horror and desperation, leaving his team behind. Zar procured an old aspect of the lobster, which explained politely that the dead drop and the Nofero were recent additions to the cave, but the lobster itself had been there for some time. The party made their narrow escape, tensions high with Valen's retreat. In the following trek back, some of the party spent time with the cadets, others had deeper conversations with Rybeck. Valen spent much of this time alone, seeking guidance from his patron, who claimed to come to him in his time of need due to his spiritual signing of the Starlight Pact, an ancient oath of togetherness and unity. She told him to trust and push forth. Answers would come, but not without effort and pain. But most importantly, she gave Valen something invaluable: hope. Belief that his son is still alive. Rybeck has a crisis of faith as Crux says a goodbye from a distance in an extremely gift manner with an expertly aimed cannonball. Skarok and Rybeck find comfort in both being aimless wanderers now, with no proper home. They agree to stick together and make the best of their situations. A few days out of their return, Valen speaks to Zar. The two find middle ground, Valen admitting his wrongdoings and ostensibly agreeing to do better, while Zar assures them that if he needs to be vulnerable, there are those nearby that would protect that space for him. Though Valen's conversation with Tin Man and Skarok ends on a slightly more sinister note. Tin Man agreeing to do some work to adjust and fix the attract mode outburst that complicated Valen's hallucination, and Skarok leaving with a sneer. The party returns to Toral somehow ahead of schedule and reconvenes with the high command of the Academy. They debrief on the mission, complete with Valen's self-given decision that Skarok is not worthy to remain in their party due to what Valen saw as a life-threatening deviation from protocol. Mert takes note and receives further reports on how the rookies did. Mikan being given glowing commendations from Ryback, Velen, and Czar. Everyone spends one last night in the cafeteria of the Listing Academy, reveling in the last few moments of relative normalcy, while others say goodbye to a longtime home taken from them. Blip confirms that the gauntlets of rage they procured on their first day from the unpaired gelatinous cube was something of an anomaly, and asks Tin Man if he's ever heard of a phenomena called magical mitosis. A phenomena that somehow can split an individual, polarizing two parts of their being against each other, bisecting them. Blip further admits that the gauntlets are indeed from Boral Gond, a forging settlement apparently fueled by the heart of a Dawn Titan in the Great Belt. As the evening wanes, Zar and Tarto share a lumens on the skydock, lamenting of lost things. Tarto gives Zar an emblem, a silver anchor, something she refers to as her honor, and states that should he need it, he can show it in almost any tavern. The party departs the next morning to the Rock of Brawl, their first stop before reaching the Great Belt itself. A somber uncertainty hangs over the party as they travel aboard Mert's own ship, the Galatine, to their next horizon. As we join the crew, they are just under 4 months into their trip, a few days from their destination, the Rock of Brawl, and none too soon, as the air envelope around the Galatine is beginning to grow stale, and the ever-present odor of GIF flatulence is becoming more and difficult to ignore. Though made somewhat better by Ryback and Skarok's joint efforts in cooking. The crew clearly feels... What's that?
So that could be the cause of the flatulence.
The crew clearly feels antsy as the destination approaches, many chatting excitedly about what they're going to do with their shore leave. Some even citing the spotting of a pot of Kendori earlier in the trip as a bit of good luck. It is about midday, and the midday meal has been served roughly an hour ago. On-duty crew are rotated out with fresh eyes and hands, and Sereth takes over spelljamming for their new protege, Mikan Haverstance, newly minted as an official spelljammer for the Academy. The Galatine launches forward as if eager to reach their distant destination. Timothy, throughout the trip, thus far, the dove has been quiet. Not unusual, but you've been on alert for her to make any sudden moves that might endanger or imperil the group, considering the past actions and apparent distaste for Skarok. You've had this uneasy sense, like you know something is off, but you can't quite bring yourself to bring it up, or to voice your concern. This afternoon, you make your way to the upper shell of the Galatine, your usual spot for a lookout, and to generally be alone for some time. And as you take a seat on the hull, you find your hip is light, and the dove has taken a seat next to you. Her long lacy clothing holding the same luster you saw of her before. The secret depth of indigo showing in the reflection of the ethereal lights of the Astral Sea. The dark veil falls over Dove's smooth face like a widow mourning, obscuring the bright blue lights of her eyes. She seems apprehensive, and you realize that the anxiety you've been feeling has been hers. In this moment, in the infinite expanse of the Astral Sea, the way she huddles and hugs footless legs to her chest, she seems small. She leans forward, and you can see as her blue eyes turn to land on you. We are partners now. You know I am called the Dove, but what should I call you?
I admit that's never a question I know how to answer. I suppose for now, just call me the same thing everyone else does. I'm the Tin Man. Nothing more.
Identity within a moniker. I know the feeling.
I think we share that.
Indeed we do. But I chose my name. Did you choose yours?
Suppose not.
And if
Maybe
you
one
could,
day. If I could.
one day then. On the topic of names, I haven't been entirely truthful. I accused one of your companions of being a liar. And while the things he has said are factually untrue, I do not believe he thinks them to be.
I knew a very wise man once out in the boat. Told me something that stick with me. He told me, when it comes to folk, never attribute to malevolence what's more likely just ignorance. Truth be told, people do harm all the time, don't even realize it. They don't mean to. Everybody's just trying to make a sense of things for themselves. I look at him, I look at the others here, and I know they've probably done their fair share of... Well, they wouldn't be here if they were all entirely law-abiding citizens. I think I share that with them. But that don't mean their hearts ain't in the right place. I appreciate you for giving him the benefit of the doubt. I don't think none of them are lying in their hearts. But this information can be a dangerous thing, so if you feel you know better, you let me know. I trust you, girl. Clearly you've been around the block a few times. I ain't gonna make you tell me all your secrets. That ain't right of me. As a gentleman, I'll stand by you. But just know, if we're gonna be partners, we gotta be honest with each other.
You can hear a smile in her voice as she responds. You know, you're more like Lenny than you think. And
Don't stoke my fires too much now.
in the name of honesty, I should tell you that my purpose, at least one of them, here, it might be better to show you. You see as she pulls the lace up of one of her sleeves up what looks to be a very thin, almost doll-like hand. And you can see that there seems to be several cartridges in her wrist. She reaches down, you can hear the mechanical clicking as she adjusts with some settings, and she pulls a silver-jacketed bullet out, similar to the one that you pulled out of the case, or out of her earlier when you're on the Tyrant ship. She looks at it for a moment, twirling it between two fingers, and lifts it to show you. On the side, etched in the casing, you see the name, Scarrock.
That bullet was meant for him, wasn't it?
Each of my bullets is meant for whoever you fire it at. But some have a fate. And this bullet's fate is for Scarrock.
We're gonna have to do some... I need to know more.
I think we both do.
Action lever, was it?
The action lever on the rock, correct.
That's our
I would like
first
you to
lead.
make a quick perception check for me, please.
Can I do?
As she's fiddling with the casings in her wrist, you notice she keeps her hand mostly the arm that she's working with, mostly balled up, but you can see some sort of etching on her palm. You only need to see a portion of it to know what it is. It is the Fapple brand logo.
That man
She
just kind
doesn't-
of muttering to himself. I just can't get away from it, can I?
I should also tell you. I lied a bit myself. When we had our standoff in the hull of the Tyrant ship, when I aimed myself at Scarrock, you notice as she moves to stand up and the lower half of her body disappears and her firearm form appears in her hand. She aims it down at you, but you notice something immediately. The underside of it is entirely hollow. Something you wouldn't have noticed in the darkness as everyone was sleeping, or attempting to sleep. I cannot wield myself. So, whatever happens to this bullet is not my decision.
Yeah. Well, any bullet that makes itself known has a funny way of being shot by the third act. So, keep an eye on that. You say it's got a fate. I'd like to find out why.
Can I have you make one last perception check, please?
I hope I fail. Keep it a mystery. Dang, better than last time.
17.
Curiosity takes over as you see her pull her sleeve back down over her wrists, or over her wrist. You catch what looks to be names on the other shells. You cannot make out any specific name, but you do see that each of them has a name.
Afraid of. We already have one mystery on our hands. And she's deemed it necessary, but that's the one that's pertinent. So I think we're gonna keep that down behind us for now. We'll come back to that.
Czar, you spent a considerable amount of time in the cargo hold doing your best to get the lobster up and running and up to full speed. However, you have realized before, it is missing many crucial components. The lobster can only access basic functions as well as Eyestalks, the companion. He seems to have named himself and refers to himself as Eyestalks. And the right claw of the apparatus is also immovable, the one that was damaged prior. So while everything seems to be running at basic functionality, the right claw is damaged, and it just seems to be running at only basic functionality. From what you heard from Tin Man, one of these with the magical assistant seemingly has a lot more functionality than just being able to move around and grab things and talk nicely to you. Hello, Czar. Welcome back. What
Hey,
are we working on?
Oh, just making some adjustments, checking out for parts that I'm gonna have to restock on, get you up and running, 100% capacity.
Ah, I can assist with that if you'd like.
Ooh, I won't say no to that.
Well, I can access my database and see some of the places I've been taken in the past for repairs. Would you like me to do so?
Yes, please.
Of course. Let's see. Most previously, I have been taken to a place called the Lever and Action. Before that, I was taken to a place called the Barrett and Prost Body Shop, also located in Brawl. and many other locations besides. This next one I don't believe will be particularly helpful, but you did ask. I was once repaired at an independent repairman. His designation was Orvis. My records deem him to be deceased. And lastly, any of the Cataphract Mining Company outposts.
Well, make note of that one from Brawl because that's where we're going.
Ah, the Lever in Action, or the Barrington Prost.
They're both in Brawl?
Correct.
Whatever one we come across first.
Fantastic. I will make note. Is there anything else you'd like to ask me?
No, that should be it for now.
Brilliant. I would also like to note that I have managed to reconnect my internal clock to that of the Belgian time.
You don't say.
I do say.
Local NTP server reached.
Would you like to know?
I think you broke Josh.
Oh boy, time!
I would exactly like to know what time it is.
Brilliant. I'm glad you asked. Currently, it is night day of the 16th of the 3rd month of the Belgian year, 373.
Beautiful.
Someone write that down. He very much wanted us to know that for some reason. Somebody write that down.
What was it? I was too busy writing Nizar is really interested in the time.
Day is Nighdday. The 16th of the 3rd month of the Belgian year 373.
That's clearly critical information.
All right, what was the Belgian year? Sorry, I'm
373.
373.
Write that down, write that down!
Yeah,
Night Day,
important
the 16th of the 3rd month of the Belgian year 3673.
Correct.
I have an
373.
automatic delivery that's supposed to be scheduled bi-monthly, so if that is the day, I need to get to my mail quicker than later.
Speaking of, it's actually from
Mail Day!
you hear a voice project itself through the entirety of the Galatine. Czar, you catch this as you are particularly sensitive to psionic stimuli in your area. It is Zerth reaching out to everyone, stating, "Mail call."
Really?
Yeah.
Let's
Mail?
go.
What impeccable timing!
Oh my god, I have so many bills. I already know it.
This isn't scripted, I promise.
You didn't really want us to know the time for some reason.
So each of you sees a couple of, well, since we're on Czar, we'll start with Czar. Czar, the air splits in front of you, spilling out a bellow of tobacco smoke and the ambient cackles and shouts of a busy tavern. Carried all the way by this portal, likely these laughs and hollers happened hours ago, if not days. Amidst the jovial exultation and the heavy clouds of cloying but familiar smoke, 2 letters fall to the ground. One looks like seems simply be a folded piece of paper, and the other a pretty common-looking envelope, addressed to Czar from the Fast-Handed Crew.
Oh.
I will be sharing these to you now. You should have received 2 letters.
Oh, that was the tricky part.
As the portal closes, a loud pop startles everyone in the area on board, and a heavy iron ball falls from the sky in the middle of the cargo area and lands in the center of the deck. The iron ball is the size of one's palm and has a seam that circles it, splitting it in 2 even hemispheres. And as that one is striking the ground, you have a 3rd portal open up. This portal, or sorry, go ahead.
So just to confirm, so for our audience at home, mail call basically includes these little portals just popping open on the ship and things just kind of falling out. Is that right?
Correct.
Harry Potter
It
style.
is interastral mail.
Oh.
Basically, those in the astral sea can, if they think hard enough about the person they want to send something to, can, with the right skills, actually send a letter or a missive or some sort of package to another individual.
Interesting.
This,
And it all kind of pops up around the same time every day.
yes, mainly because the ship and having a skilled spelljammer like Seraph, they can muddy sort of the signal of these and delay them until they drop this sort of layer of protection, this psionic protection, to allow these portals to open up.
Okay.
This
Okay. So we're not just getting random portals telefragging people.
Correct. The last letter arrives through a stable, near imperceptible tear in the air in front of you. The letter itself falls through the tear and alights on the deck in front of you. The air itself smells of sweet flowers and dead things.
Who's it falling
The
from?
stationary... What's that?
Who's it falling in front of?
This is still Czar.
Okay.
The stationery of the letter is a gently textured paper, and the handwriting is scrawled beautifully by a practiced hand. So let me send you those last two.
Whoa.
Tin Man.
Got a lot of reading to do over here.
Timothy.
Damn, Czar getting love letters.
On the
My adoring fans.
on the hull of the gala team. Find it real quick. You
I
can
can start
hear.
reading these, Mark.
Feel free, yes.
Okay.
While I'm talking to the others, you can go ahead and read those. That's why I started with you, because you got a lot to read. Behind you, Tin Man, you hear the churning of gears and distant shouts of working folk, punctured by the sound of metal striking metal, pour from a steaming portal. The moisture in the air around the portal immediately steams away from the intense heat. A formal-looking letter drops to the ground, and on it says, "Recall notice, Fapelbrand." You should have just received that letter. Belen, sitting in your cabin. The ship, the room you're in itself, bursts into a resplendent gold light, settling on every surface like a massive silken sheet of molten metal. It tears away detail on most things, leaving the world around you looking half melted. Chairs lose definition, and the planks on the floor are one solid gold expanse. You feel hardened, heroic, and like the world around you isn't so scary, as a small crumpled note, partially folded by an inexpert hand, falls on the ground in front of you. Scarrock, you just finished your time helping Ryback with lunch. You weren't expecting a letter, yet still one came. You watch as the distant stars knit themselves together to form the outline of an individual. They smile warmly, and in ivory hands reach into the folds of their cloak as if reaching into the places between planes. And it proffers a letter to you, and offers words. Take heed, ancient hunter. This was sent on the wings of a desperate prayer. The figure speaks directly into your mind. It smiles again, and you watch as the stars that made up the individual disperse like fireflies, returning to once where they hung in the distance. A letter floats in front of you. I'll give you each a moment to read your letters and consider what they say.
Is mine like so crumpled up I can't read it?
Did you receive it?
No.
Oh, then let me fix that.
What is this? I can't read.
How about now? Did you get it?
I did not, but that's okay. I didn't.
Mark, I can't help but notice a theme in these letters, and I gotta say, it's concerning.
I got a recall letter. I don't know what you guys are complaining about.
Oh
So-
no!
So Valen, I'll read yours out loud,
Okay.
and I'll include it like an image of it in the campaign notes at the end of the
Oh, I
session.
see it up there. I was expecting it in Discord.
Oh, no. Sorry. All right, then I won't read it out loud.
Okay.
So, would anybody like to share the information on theirs or read theirs out loud?
Mine's simple enough. Tin Man has no qualms reading it, especially because odds are he's probably received similar ones in the past. Yeah, he's gonna kind of look this thing over.
Would you like me to read it out
Addressed
loud?
to Unit T19 Timothy. Da-da-da. Formal demand. Apple Brand Industries. Turn to the nearest maintenance provider. Deliver to them this letter of recall. Da-da-da-da-da. Furthermore, condenser unit. That's a new one. Designation Dove. Kind of look down at it so they know that we got her now. All right. Failure to comply, yada yada yada. Heighten the measures. Apple Brand Industry assets. Blah blah blah. Found possession of these units will be tried to the fullest extent of the law. Well, cordially, Industry Representative Hoyden Karst. Oh, they got someone else new on this now. Well, girl, seems like having you with me has brought me right up to the top now. Before it was more casual. They wanted me back. Don't get me wrong, but I think they might actually start taking us seriously now. Well, they ain't acted on it yet.
As each of you take a moment to read your letters, you hear a holler of exultation come from deeper in the ship, from a one cadet Mikan. Valen, being the closest, you hear thumping footsteps as Mikan knocks excitedly at your door.
You may enter.
Make sure I got you guys in the right thing. Okay, everybody can see the Galatine, the turtle ship.
Yeah. Do you want me to go over to? Yep. Okay.
I mean, you can if you want. It's just there for visual reference. Sir, my mother wrote.
And
Well,
Is he a mama's boy?
she's very proud of me for my promotion.
yes, I'm sure she is. Family letters like that can be important. It's important you remember and cherish these moments. Hold on to that. That's going to be important for you.
Of course, but also because you were so integral in helping me get said promotion, I wanted to share. She sent me some carrot cake. It is vegan, I promise.
Yeah, I'll try some.
Wait, no, hold on. I'll jump on that.
I'll take some. Yeah. Your mom made it?
Yeah, she's brilliant, I tell you.
And I'll pull out like my field mess kit. Pull out the little spork and just take a bite out of it and try it.
All right. Go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw, please.
What?
You took him at his word.
How's an 18 do?
You consume this piece of this carrot cake, and you're surprised. It's really, really good. It could only have been made by hand with the amount of texture and flavor in every bite. It's genuinely masterful. You're impressed. And you gain 5 temporary hit points.
That's actually... Hey, Skarok! And I'm going to point off to the side, and does he look?
Skarok?
No, does
What?
Mikan look? Does Mikan look
Oh,
away?
Oh, yeah, he looks away.
And I'm going to take another bite real quick and just eat it so quick, but like eat it so quick, fast that it's like definitely on my face now. Oh my god, nah, maybe it wasn't him.
Ah, well, I mean, she made a lot. I've got 2 loaves.
Ooh.
I was planning on sharing this with you guys.
Why don't you
Scarrock, come over here, please.
Why don't you leave that one here, and we'll take that other one to dinner later tonight.
Brilliant.
Really?
And he doesn't leave it with you, but he turns and walks over to Scarrock. Scarrock, my mother sent with me some carrot cake. I was hoping you might taste it, see what you thought.
Sent us, Skarok. Me and Mika.
I just look over at him, like, cause food's involved. And it's like, just the shush. And I take a bite of the carrot cake and
Make a Constitution saving throw.
all right.
All I can think of is the one kitchen nightmares. Gordon Ramsay. Finally, some good food.
That's
Uh,
a 7.
You go to take a bite, and you're suddenly taken aback by an odd texture change as you saw that Valen took it very nicely and rather enjoyed it. So if Valen liked it, maybe it's pretty good. What you weren't expecting is that there are walnuts in it, and it's really good. You do not receive any temporary hit points.
If you're not gonna appreciate it, Skarok, you can just leave it for the rest of us. And then I'm gonna take another bite of it.
Mikan
Well,
doesn't
this is,
fight you taking your third share.
But no, this is very very tasty, interesting.
He's just got complete pride in his mother right now. He is beaming.
He is beaming.
I'm not going to say I'm not going to throw it at him and tell him it's donkey feed but no, it's good, interesting texture. The walnuts. It was a choice.
It's a Haverstand staple.
I see. And I've kind of scratched my head. Well, it was good, Mikan. I thank you for sharing it with me.
Of course, thank you for everything. And he turns and trots off, presumably to find the other members of the crew.
Carrot cake is not supposed to be chunky. It is not supposed to be chunky. I don't know what that was.
That was delicious carrot cake, and if you're not gonna appreciate it, I'll appreciate it the rest of your bet.
I'm going to appreciate it even harder.
Yeah.
So hard. I love it even more now that you hate it.
Look, I don't hate it. I just don't love it.
Czar, eventually Mikan finds you in the cargo bay. And he proffers to you a piece of this carrot cake.
I would like to point out that I look stressed, fumbling over all these letters.
Is something wrong, General?
Nothing to concern yourself with, Mikan. What brings you down here?
My mother sent me a letter with some food, and I wanted to share.
Oh, what did your mother send you?
Carrot cake with walnuts. Would you like to try a piece?
I would absolutely like to try a piece, Mikan.
Delightful. And he pulls out his own service knife and cuts out a slice and hands it over to you.
Awesome. I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna eat it in whatever manner my mandibles allow. So probably much like that.
All right, I would like you to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Constitution saving throw is a 6.
Ooh, you guys don't like this stuff.
You aren't prepared for the walnuts, despite being informed that they existed. And you sort of trip up with your mandibles trying to work your way through them. You make a little bit of a mess, but Mikan doesn't seem to mind. He's more interested staring at you like well, What do you think?
Like when a bird picks out the
This
seed
is good.
shells.
The walnuts threw me for a minute. But, well, once you realize they're walnuts, it makes sense, and it all works really well together.
That's why I said
you
it
to tell your
first.
mother. I would like you to tell your mother that this is probably the greatest carrot cake I've ever had. It's the only carrot cake Var's ever eaten.
I was gonna say, I just got to imagine that nuts are just not a part of a Thrycreen's diet.
No, not at all.
Specifically, not D's.
I would just like to say Skyrock is currently making carrot cake in the kitchen right now.
Oh my god, it's always a competition.
beaming with
Cleanse
this.
the palate.
He's gonna go out of his way to try to trash a man's mom over carrot cake.
Yeah.
Also, Mikan, could you tell me where the others are? I have some matters to discuss.
The others are?
I believe that. I found Skarok and Valen up in their quarters, and I believe I saw Tin Man heading to the outer hole not too long ago, as he usually does.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Of course. Would you like another piece?
Ooh, no, I've got important matters that I have to go take care of. Save me some for later, though.
Of course. Valen said we should keep it at dinner.
That's a great idea, Mikan.
He salutes and heads off. Tin Man, he doesn't seem to try and track you down. And he admits he admits at one point to kind of unintentionally overlooking you and not realizing that you need to eat.
That's okay. That's all right.
That said,
It's all
Czar, it's fine. It's okay.
It's all right.
That's not cool, man. I even at least give him oil.
While you're sitting there, you just hear Dove grumble and say, "I could really go for some carrot cake right now."
With walnuts.
With walnuts. Specifically. The devil's like, oh man, yeah, Silver just used to make this great, amazing carrot cake with walnuts.
I like mine with floor nuts.
These nuts.
I prefer truck nuts. Wait.
Wait.
All right, so Czar, you were looking to search out the rest of the crew.
Yes. So I'm going to find Valen and Skarok, since they are within close proximity of each other.
All right.
He said Tin Man went out to the hold, so I'll find him later.
The hull, but yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's not too long later that Valen and Skarok, you see Czar amble in.
Czar!
My antenna is twitching.
He seems stressed.
Bugman, you okay?
No, actually, not really. No.
Skarok, just give me a second. Bugman, you okay?
What kind of letters did you guys get in the mail today? Because mine were all concerning. Do you guys remember that imposter of me that shot me with a cannon?
How could I forget?
Yeah, so I sent some feelers out to some old contacts of mine, and let me tell you, they had choice words for me and my recent actions. Some calling me a reprehensible cur, and wishing me to die slowly.
Well, that all checks.
So it seems he's out there causing problems for me.
My dude's reputation is just shot.
I would argue you may have caused these problems yourself. However, it does not mean I won't help you figure these out. How many
Listen,
letters...
you may have done this to yourself, but it's okay.
How many hate letters
I don't need this right now.
No, I get you don't need this, and I'm going to help.
I don't need this right now.
I'm going to help you with these letters here, but let me just tell you, I got a nice letter from a new pen pal that was actually really reassuring to myself here. And
Everything sucks for you, but let me tell you how great my day is going. I'm sorry.
I also got a letter from I didn't say who it was from, but I know where it was from. It came from the Crate and Tackle. That I can't go back.
The ones that's in TB?
Yeah.
That's Tugboat.
That was it. I moved them. I have them all open as other tabs. So I don't have their titles.
Czar, it does seem like you have got us in quite a little pickle here with your loud mouth.
Me?
Well,
Me? There's an imposter. Said he raised a village.
what?
And he's
Well,
trading in people.
The
I would never
puppy.
do such reprehensible things.
Well,
in other words, my brother might be alive.
Oh my god. Scarhawk's like, guys, I also just had
What?
like the biggest revelation in my life, so at any time.
well, this is a lot to decompress here.
Derek, you can't just drop that here.
This is what happens when you leave the belt for like any period of time. You just come back and like time is completely shifted on you.
I want to actually let you know I got a lot of mail too. And there's a lot.
So if anyone wants to know about my mail,
Still a lot I have to go through yet. There could be probably 10 or 20 letters I haven't really addressed or gone through.
That's an
This
impressive amount of mail. Hopefully they're
I
not
got
all
so much
insulting
mail.
you in
It's
your
the
recent
best
decision.
mail.
it's not
It's
really
huge.
it's not really hate mail, so I'm not really quite used to that. Most people are just writing, asking for autographs and stuff. But yeah, there's no such thing as bad press, Czar.
These
He-
letters beg to differ.
He's out there doing some wild stuff in your name, or maybe you're doing some calm stuff in his name. I'm not too sure, really. However,
He has a
these-
point.
The tone
should
of these
try and
letters
balance
does
it.
imply I am the original.
yeah, that's probably what I would say too if I thought I was the original.
Goodness, I got
my God.
10 to 20 letters I haven't read yet.
Oh my lord!
You have carrot cake in your beard.
That's not
You're right.
important.
That's
Scott's
way
just over
important.
here just mulling over the biggest news of his life.
That's not important. What I may or may not have in my mailbox or my beard. There's a few more important things to address here, and it's not.
I just nudged Tin Man and hand him the letter and say, "What do you make of this?"
And it's not.
That
how
man just
many
like walked in.
letters-
What?
It's not how many letters go unopened, okay? That's not important here. Regardless of how many 10 to 20 letters I got unopened, we have to address real issues here. What's your brother's alive still?
Are you showing this to the others?
Yeah, no, I've heard. Like, I handed it over to Tin Man and just kind of like, what do you? So I got a letter. It says, "Scar, find me in the shadow of the smiling moon. Remember the Ibex, brother." It's very few people know about that.
I know about it.
And I've
Yeah, because he told us. The smiling
Did you
moon.
write me a
Does
letter,
that
Villain?
come to mind at all?
Were you hoping that I'd write you a letter? If you want me to write you a letter, man, I'll write you a letter.
I
You don't
probably
have-
wouldn't get to it. There's so many pieces of mail.
Reprehensible
It's
cur,
very
and
difficult.
I'm gonna put it in his mailbox.
It's very difficult to get.
Tin Man, I would like you to roll a history check.
Absolutely. Let's roll some dice here, gentlemen.
So, Czar, you were sharing the letter from the lady to the others as well, correct?
Right, Tin Man. Since you're here, Lady Silhouette says hello, and she also called me a reprehensible bastard. So that was pretty cool, I guess.
The letter from
Oh.
Lady Silhouette has been shared to everyone if you'd like to read it.
I'm gonna all of
I
them
will-
can be shared.
Okay, I'll read this
I'm
one
gonna lay
out
them out
loud.
on the table.
My dearest General Czar, it has been some time since last we spoke, and thus imagine my surprise when I receive a letter from none other than the supposed Dread Captain himself. Your work in the recent months has been as crass as it has been effective. 3 entire settlements razed. Though I find myself musing on your sudden change of character, the General Czar I knew sought freedom, not the yoke of a corporate keeper. Did Krelek finally bend your antenna? Perhaps the gold fever has finally taken you, perhaps twice. Should you find yourself in Renasus within the next 5 or so months, I would request an interview, for I'd love to understand your decisions to turn into a reprehensible bastard. Send the Tin Man my regards. In health and undeath, your lady Silhouette.
Ooh.
Another
Right
general.
now, guys, we need to go to Renasus in the next 5 or so months.
General from Captain Iotai of the Don't Blink. I regret to inform you that Luan is unable to respond personally to your letter, and so it falls upon me to respond. We are saddened by your turn away from decency, but are open to hearing an explanation of your actions. It is doubtful you can offer any explanation that would justify the removal of innocents from their homes. Your owner must keep you on a tight leash. If you seek to explain yourself and lay bare your sins, you know how to reach us. Until then, perish in the sea.
Oh,
Captain Aitai of the Don't Blink.
they hate you, Czar.
I'm getting hate mail.
Yeah.
Czar, what did you do, man?
It was the other me.
All right.
The-
The one who
From-
shot me with the cannon.
I know
I
a guy.
think we should take some
can-
moment to mull over these letters a little bit, okay, DM?
Yeah, and I'm gonna read the other two that Czar had, just because he is sharing them, and then we'll take our break.
Sounds good.
The one he states is from Tugboat. No more fish here, pond dry. Time to try new lake. Fastest fish gone, biggest fish gone, dead fish gone, Czar fish gone. You stay gone. Signed TB. And then the last one. Greetings from the illustrious, bombastic Captain Cadmus Blomhart. His imperious explosiveness has received your missive and regrets to inform you that previous and important business calls him home. When kin turn on kin, the entire family is involved. See that you take heed and find education in the way of Gith. Sir Cadmus would like to include a quote. I have little reason to believe this dread captain is the man I respect. Should it be true, however, I will not abide a corruption of our pact. As my business in gift space is finished, I swear upon my name in the honor of our great immortal queen, Maximilia Cordona Warright, I will end you, slowly. Consider yourself graced by the words of an agent of the United Gift Empire. Seek grace. Outpost 7A, gift space.
I mean, for what it's worth, it sounds like most of them still like loved and respected the, you know, the Czar that they
Me?
knew. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
This Czar?
Exactly. I'm just saying,
That's
like,
to be
this is one of those
determined.
situations where you're gonna show up after being snapped, and they're being like, "Oh yeah, that's the right one. We know that guy." Still, that is reputation shot.
I think that's a good spot for us to take our 5-minute break.
Yeah, we'll be right back. All right, we are back. Thanks for sticking with us.
Welcome back from our break. So, where we left off,
Poor
Belen-
Czar.
Valen, Skarok, and
Reeling
Czar
right now.
are sharing their recent mail to the rest of the group. Czar seems to have received quite a few admonishing and, as he states, hate mail letters from ostensible friends. It's as you're discussing your letters that you hear a call through the alert system through the ship that Mert is calling everyone for a meeting.
Well, I guess
He
I
does. Go
could
ahead.
get back to the rest of my letters later here. We better go see what Mert wants.
Tin Man's gonna kind of hand the letter back to Skarrock. I admit I can't quite make heads or tails of it myself. I mean, I wasn't there, but based on your story, it seemed pretty cut and dry. But I mean, do you think it's worth pursuing?
Yeah, probably.
It's all right. It's all right.
Look, Nami. Look, there's something calling me back to Verdant.
Is that a general something, or is it the giant ship that's following us?
Well, I mean, this letter, the ship, like, it's telling me I need to go home. Damn it, I don't think I'm ready.
Tin Man kind of reaches into his inside pocket and crumples the letter he received. Yeah, I know that feeling. Kind of poke you up on your really tall chest. But that is a decision you gotta make.
Maybe
Well,
I'll make
come on.
a couple.
Let's go
Couple
see what this
days.
meeting's all about.
All right.
As each of you heads towards the little meeting room that Mert has put together in the below decks, Tin Man, you pick up on Fred speaking to Cricklet. He mentions that one of his family members of a commune that he belonged to is being asked to relocate to a nice little spot that these generous folks from a mining company have procured for them. He seems pretty sold on the idea.
Can't be bad.
Do you do anything with this information?
Is it timeshare?
Yeah.
Can we get in on that?
Is there profit to be made?
Do you say or do anything with that for having overheard that, Tin Man?
Tin Man's just gonna shake his head. Where about are they at now?
Oh, we're over by Tossoir.
Well, I won't pretend to know much of what's going on. I've been out of the belt for a while. And, I mean, it may be a good offer compared to what they have now. I don't know where you're coming from. But, in my personal experience, them nice letters tend to purdy up them offers a little more than what they're actually worth. And I'll tell you, it's real quick. The moment you ignore the first couple of pretty letters, they start getting real nasty real fast. They don't take much for them to show their true colors. I don't think I've met a mining agency out there that didn't offer a handshake with one hand and, well, you know, holding something in the other.
And
Oh,
I
yes,
overhear
sandwich.
them. I don't know the details, but if I could suggest anything, please look into
course.
retaining some of the mineral rights to the property you're leaving. Whether
You know
it's
they ain't gonna allow that.
20 to 30%, then you counter offer and hunker down.
Captain, you really are from a different world, ain't you?
We'll see what we can negotiate.
You go ahead and try to negotiate. I'm telling you, them pretty letters are gonna drop real quick. Tell your folks to watch out for themselves, all right? If they ever find themselves in a real tight spot, tell them the underground railguns will take care of them.
I thought they were a myth.
Well, tell them to keep an eye out for a myth then.
I will do that. Thank you, Tin Man. And you can see as he moves over to his desk and begins busily writing. You continue on to Mert's meeting room. You can see it's set up similarly to the one he had set up. Oh, we lost Alex for a second.
I'm there.
All right, you can see that he's set up almost exactly the way he had set up your debrief room
Alex, relog into
excuse
your
me, in the academy. He's sitting behind a desk that is facing an open room, and you see that Tarto and Serth, or not Serth, and Blip are flanking the table, or his desk. Oh, yes, welcome. Come in, we have much to talk about.
Appears so. What's the situation? Fill us in.
Well, we have a few things to discuss. Firstly, the reason we're stopping at the Rock of Brawl. I feel it goes without saying that the air quality is declining. And, well, making a quick stop to replenish the fresh air, I feel is becoming mandatory. I do not think that I can...
Trolls died on board.
Yes, that and many other things besides. However, it is also because we need to speak with my good friend Am. You'll remember the letter sent with those gelatinous cubes and the gauntlets of rage?
A real friendly like.
Yeah.
Yes, well, Am is an interesting creature. I will explain who Am is in a moment, but I would like to finish with saying that we're also seeking, I mentioned prior that I might have a job for you once we reach Brawl. And that would be
Underneath us, right?
correct. And to learn a little more about, well, the artifact that you had recovered in the Hakathan cave. We need you to seek out one of our agents, a planar seer named Tabula. She lives in a ever-moving lighthouse around these parts, and she can be terribly difficult to contact because of that. On top of that, she can be a bit of a recluse, and not many people know where she is. So, we know only that she resides in a lighthouse. There are often birds nearby, which is odd being in the Astral Sea, and there always seems to be an odd storm that rolls in whenever anybody gets too close. So once we get there, we will, well, I will be speaking to Am to get us passage on to Brawl, and once we've touched down, I will send each of you out to locate Tabula, should you choose to take this quest. Technically speaking, as soon as we touch down on the Rock of Brawl, your requirements to us are finished.
Well,
Now,
silence speaks volumes.
I believe
We,
so as well.
Well, I think it goes without saying, we all invested quite a bit of time and effort into the academy. I hope we'll continue keeping in touch.
You have my mailbox, correct?
I'm not sure I understand what you mean.
I assume you can reach us by mail, correct?
Oh, yes, easily enough.
Great. This has been an absolutely trying and teaching adventure for us, but if we are to part ways here at the Rock of Brawl, I do say I have learned quite a bit, and I appreciate all the help you have given us.
Of course, it is our honest duty to bring knowledge and enlightenment to those near us, to uplift the unenlightened.
Yes. Couldn't have said it better myself.
I do believe that our message, the thing that we we set our sights by our code of ethics, is derived from your people.
I thought I recognized some of the words you guys spoke. I assume you're referring to the Starfire Pact.
Correct.
Yes.
I had an old friend who once spoke it, and when I heard those words, they changed me forever.
I too heard them, but much longer ago. They're important words to some, but to others, they're just silly stories you tell at elf camp in the summer.
Elf camp.
What are they to you, Glenn?
I don't know anymore.
Well,
There's a story in there that I'm not certain anyone knows the ending. You may only know a brief part of it.
perhaps. However, I speak for myself, of course, but I always like to keep reading. And I do believe that the next step of answers for you, at least in consideration to how you responded to this artifact, will be made clear when you reach Tabula. As she is the one we hope to decode this device. And you see he sets the paper box gently on the desk in front of him, and he presses his hand down on the top to assure you that it will not be opened.
Yes, I look forward to bringing that whole little story to an end too, as quickly as possible. You're taking that, correct?
We are hoping that Topula will join us here on the ship, so that way you don't have to interact with it at all.
So we gotta go fetch her then.
That is the hope, should you take the charge.
You talk to your fellow Am there, get us into the Rock and Brawl. We'll see what we can do.
Ah, yes, Am. Okay. Now, it is important that I explain a little bit about Am before we meet them. You see, Am... how many of you are familiar with the Feywild?
I've only
I
heard
thought that place is
stories.
just a legend. What?
I've heard a few
Well.
stories. Yes.
Am is from the Feywild, and while I'm not in...
That place is just a legend. That ain't no thing.
That's why they're called stories.
Just like your underground railgun.
He makes a good
Mer-
point.
Mert leans forward. Wait until I tell you about where robots come from. Anyway, Am is a fey creature, and they are well off in the Rock of Brawl. They also have some, they also have some holdings in the Great Belt. They first took interest in me and my endeavors some decade ago, and mine primarily through their financing that we have built the academy up to what it is today. Was until yesterday, 4 months ago. Anyway, this makes dealing with Am very difficult, challenging at least, and it is my genuine hope that you do not need to. However, should you do indeed have to face down Am, it's pertinent for you to know their entire name. Amirale is their true name, entrusted to me by themselves. However, in the mortal realm, a true name is only of limited use. And my understanding, Am never goes back to the Feywild. So use that information as you would. But, and Tinman and Czar, you recognize the name Amarale. specifically from the Emirale Foundation, who is they finance a lot of the historical and research-based advances into understanding basically where each asteroid in the belt comes from, where all of these phenomena show up from, and sort of dating when and where they came from. Emirale, of course, profits heavily and takes pieces for their own collection. Most of these are stored in a place that both of you would have heard of, and in fact,
Yes, the British Museum.
correct. Valen, you would have even heard about this with how, in fact, you've probably been a couple of times, the Historia Magnifica.
Yeah, I have been.
Yeah,
there a
the British
couple of
National
times.
Museum of History. Got it.
It is a pseudo-museum in Renaissance.
Renaissance.
Astral Britain.
What's that?
Astral Britain.
Yeah, Space Britain.
Space
But Mert continues, Anne is currently in the belt, in Bora, to assist us in our foray. They won't be there long, so I'm hoping that your retrieval of Tapala goes quickly, but you will be given at least a couple of days, I hope. As Am is a fickle creature. So we best
holding
not...
on to his, so holding on to his name, not a silver bullet, but might save us somewhere.
Yes, he told to me once that, they told to me once that it kept them honest in business dealings. I believe that it's simply a challenge for them to find interesting loopholes.
Are you sure you're not talking about a fiend?
No, that still checks for Faye.
Forgive me,
Scar?
I ain't had much
Can Scar make a roll?
You gotta mute
Hold on.
and.
Oh, yeah.
He went full auto gnome. Never go full auto gnome.
Can you make a roll to what?
Essentially, the Feywild, what it's known for, and like the courts and whatnot, and like dealings with Am. Can you make like just more or less a survival check from his days in the court?
Yeah, go ahead.
While he's doing that,
Like, I'm
yeah,
just trying to think of what a role would, because essentially like that, the navigational of like names, knowing like when to say something, when not to say something, and like the actions in between that are actually determine the consequences.
Yeah.
Much like dealing with the Fae.
while he's doing that, yeah, Tin Man's kind of talking over to Zar here. He's like, I'll be honest, I don't know too much about Fae. I never even actually met an elf in person before Violin here. A lot of
One
that
thing
stuff
you
gets
should
done-
know, Tin Man.
Yeah, we say we
If
haven't met
fiends
an
are
elf
known
in
for their
Elsa.
trickery, and that is not because Fae are not tricksters.
Well, you're just talking about contracts, and all I'm thinking is devils. That sounds like devils. Now, devils, I've had some working with.
21.
Mark. Yes.
Privy to both.
With a 21 in your survival, the need to be guarded and careful with every single syllable you utter is incredibly familiar to you. In the movers and shakers and the places that Skarok had spent much of his life outside of Verdanth, it was your daily life. And much of the time, it was your casual life as well, what little you had. The comparisons don't sound unfamiliar.
So yeah, Scar comes, yes. Days of the court when a lot more is done with what is not said and what is said in between. Yes, this is very... I understand. Murder.
I'm glad.
Watch what you
Sounds like devils to me.
Well, they are devils of their own making, and in a different and interesting way. All I can say is guard your tongue. It is not as silvered as you think it is. Now,
Remember, if a Fae asks for your attention, do not say yes. You will end up with ADHD.
Tin Man, I'm gonna ask you a question. If an attractive young lady asks you, "Do I look fat in this dress?" How are you going to answer that question?
All right. All right. I see your point. I see your point.
That is where you're going. It's like the answer is always
Crass
you look.
description, Skyrock, but nonetheless, it is accurate.
I'm judging by your ability to navigate the court and when and what not to say, you would know not to ask such question.
Well, I think if we do come face to face with Am, this might just be a blind spot for me. Forgive me, folks, but I'm going to be relying on y'all to get us through that.
To be honest, Tin Man, I think you will be fine. You got a way with words. I think you can dance with the elves just like. I think you'll be all right.
I'll be sure to follow your steps first.
Tin Man, may I pose you a question?
Everyone's asking me questions today. Yes, sir?
May I have your name?
Well, you already know it.
It's not an answer.
Lars in the background behind him just.
May I have your
I'm
name?
going to be honest, I feel like I'm being played here and I can't tell how. All
Then
right,
you
all right, what's the
understand
correct
the
answer?
workings of
Now
the
you
Seaman
understand
Corps.
the Fae.
Well done.
Takes all kinds, tell you what.
Right. And, of course, our last reason for stopping at the Rock of Thrall is to rest and stretch our legs. We've all been cooped up on these ships for almost 4 months, and aside from smelling farts every morning, I look forward to stretching my legs and going for a jog.
I do have to hit a mechanic shop in the Rock of Brawl, actually.
So do I, for other reasons.
I have some soul searching, guys.
Well, our stay will not be long. We're looking at about 5 days to most, perhaps a full week. But the sooner we leave, the sooner we're in the Great Belt, and the sooner we can lay down our roots once more.
I do need to get to Renasis and clear up some misunderstandings.
Yeah,
I'm fairly certain Renasis is a long-term goal for us.
I think we should probably focus on that sooner rather than later. I don't like the idea of a whole Navy fleet of pirates upset at us at all. Now that's.
I'm just gonna say, my past contacts are not the people you want to be on their bad side of.
You don't have to say it. I believe it. They wrote you a ton of hate mail. No one's arguing this. We need to take care of that as soon as possible. Or maybe,
I think
can you change identity or something? Like, can you?
I'm gonna have to.
You put a mustache.
I can't parade around with my own name on the streets now.
What about a different name? A little rebranding. You know, never hurt anyone. Little PR work.
You're right. It's gotta go back to
Standard
General
Czar.
Bar.
General
Standard
Bar.
Czar.
No, no.
What I told him when he aimed the cannon at me. Oh, did I say General Czar? I mean, General Bar.
Yeah,
General Akbar.
it's a trap.
General Barry.
Sounds all good. Well, it looks like we have a few days, guys, to kind of stretch out a little bit here and rest and recoup.
Yes, our approach will be in about 3 days, so be ready then. And then we will have about a week before we must depart again.
Sounds great. I will be in my quarters if anyone needs me.
As you're saying this, Belen, as you turn around, the rest of you see Tarto stiffen and straighten up as if on alert. She leans over to Mert, and you see his expression turn stormy. It seems Seth has picked up a ship at our extreme range. He says that there are living creatures aboard.
Is it an SOS?
He seems to think so.
Well, if it is an SOS, we have to respond. Do you think it's an
What
SOS?
ship is it?
We'd have to get closer to sea. We're nearing a reef, an area of dense asteroids that are difficult to navigate through. It is a prime place to be ambushed. but it is also a place where many a ship find their end.
And
I
it's
gotta
like
say, just got a bunch of hate mail. The timing could not be more coincidental, guys.
it's definitely maybe an SOS, not for sure an SOS.
We will
I
know
knew
more.
today was going to be a bad day.
We will know more as we approach. Seth is taking us in.
Protocol states if it's an SOS, we have to respond. If we think it's an SOS, it's not something we should really worry about.
If we think it's an SOS, it is our duty to determine whether it is or not.
If it is, and that's exactly what I'm saying.
What direction is the ship?
We're facing towards the reef, and it is forward east.
Well, we should probably get in and look a little closer.
Bearing 160, Seth says.
Yes.
Let's
I have to go observe this ship.
let's bring it in close. Let's get eyes on, and if it looks like they're in distress, we'll respond according to protocol.
Mert stands and heads off to the observation deck at the head of the turtle ship, which has the two eye-like viewing ports. I presume the rest of you go with him?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
So as you step onto the observation deck, you can see what looks to be a dense field of asteroids of various sizes, shapes, and colors. I would like each of you to make a perception check, and Tin Man, I will give you. Well, you should already have advantage.
As a matter of fact.
I got a 18.
19.
Oh, I didn't roll that up.
So yeah, just roll again. There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Oh, baby.
So-
Natural 20.
So with Zar's 19, Valen's 18, Scarrock's 13, and Tin Man's natural 20.
Ooh.
Immediately, as you enter, or Sterth eases the Galatine forward into the belt of the reef, as it were, into this reef of asteroids, you feel the gentle vibrations, almost like drums, as the smaller rocks and detritus bounce off the hull. And you ease yourself forward slowly, or the ship is eased forward slowly. And save for Scarrock, Valen and Zar, your blood goes cold. Tin Man, your vision narrows as you see the telltale tendrils of a nautiloid slip out from behind a large asteroid.
I knew today was going to be a bad day.
Specifically, though, Tin Man, after a moment, you see a figure on the observation deck of the nautiloid, surprisingly humanoid, waving its arms frantically. Turns out, it is indeed an SOS.
That's
Hello
the
there.
worst SOS I've ever seen.
Hey, somebody had to say it.
We're approaching. They're waving us in. Let's move carefully. Gonna kind of jab Zar into the right. Well, what's that old sailor saying? Red shift by port bow or nest. Jammers be free to take a rest. Red shift to starboard keel or stern. Jammers move with heightened concern.
Yeah, I've
That'd be
heard,
the one, Tin Man.
I've heard that before. And what's this looking like to you? Concern?
A whole lot of concern.
Yeah, me too. I was catching that same vibe. Let's
Honestly, it was severe concern the
does
minute we
this
caught
thing
a ship
have
off.
cannons or weapons on it? I believe so at the front, right?
Yep, there are three ballista launchers with a mangonel on the tail.
Yeah, let's get some people up on those turrets and get them hot and ready to go on my command.
As you are saying this, Mert is already hollering orders to the rest of the crew, doing almost exactly what you said, except he's having several of their military retinue, also with longbows and crossbows, next to the ballista. I appreciate your enthusiasm, Captain Yosai. However, this is my ship still.
All
Aye, aye,
happens, ain't that right,
Captain.
Valen? Gonna kind of knee Skarrock in the knee, probably. Get your top side, big boy. And Tin Man's gonna make his way up to the hull.
I'm gonna follow suit.
Glenn, Skarrock?
Oh yeah, no, Skarrock was as soon as Tin Man nudged him was going.
Yeah, I'm getting up on the top of the shell, like that little hatch port up there.
Mm-hmm. So as each of you move up to the hull, you can see that Mert and Tarto have stayed behind in the observation deck, the head of the ship here. And as you draw closer, you can see that Sereth seems to be taking exceptional care to not potentially alert whatever else might be on that ship. Weaving around larger asteroids and gently bumping into mid-sized ones so they move away slowly without causing a large dung on the hull, giving you away.
Okay.
You ease. Go ahead.
Well, while we're out there on the hull, outside, I'm gonna go into tree form.
Okay.
He is going tree.
Is there to a specific effect here, or is it just to keep you rooted?
Well, more or less to spread out, so there is a more. If we get close enough, it's just to seem like why is there a tree on a turtle? Like if they were going to do.
I mean,
Yeah,
I,
it's like
I think we're all thinking the exact same thing there.
So, yeah, why is there a tree on a turtle? So as you draw closer, you can see that this individual is a rattly clad human. And with your natural 20, Tin Man, you can see that this nautiloid seems to be a derelict. As some of the tendrils are
stole one of the worst things they could.
Some of the tendrils have been broken free, and you can see the decay at the ends. There are several holes in the hull, and if this thing once breathed, it clearly doesn't anymore. The individual on top, you can hear him yelling to you, but you can't quite make out the words at your distance. As you close in, you can see that he is doing what would generally look like semaphore signals with his arms, denoting an SOS.
Dang it.
Well, now we gotta follow protocol. Let's make sure the captain wants to bring us in.
Yeah, and as you make note of this, you feel the ship shift faster and close in on the nautiloid, lining up the retractable ramp at the rear of the ship to the observation deck. You hear Mert speak to you through Sereth's psionic link. If the four of you, since you're already there, would go on and secure the ship before we let any unknown elements on.
Roger that.
Anything, Captain.
You heard him.
Yeah, I will stop back at my room to at least grab my armor before we go out the back gate. I ain't falling for that. I'll be there in a minute, guys. Give me a moment.
All right, I'm going to take you over to a new map.
Ooh, boy. This
Yeah,
looks interesting.
Brings back flashbacks. Gotta say, I'm not a fan.
I would like to give a little shout out to Matt, because this was in the ships that he procured for me in Roll20.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
the Galatine lines up with the observation deck, and Mert asks that
that's
each of
so
you,
sick.
step over and ensure that the ship is clear before you take on any unknown elements. While you're there, we will do a patrol to make sure that there are no pirates waiting for you.
That would be advised.
Czar, when you're ready, you know how to reach out. Sereth will be on ready to intercept.
All right, boys.
You
Let's hit the
Go ahead.
deck, secure the deck, and hold the deck. We go as a team. We leave as a team. No one gets left behind.
you could see elation and relief on the face of this sallow individual who is wearing clothes many times too large for them, it seems. You can see gauntness in their face as if they are malnourished, but that does not diminish the life in their eyes as they fall to their knees. Oh, thank God you're here. We've been here for what feels like months. Please,
Tsar,
do you have any
probably longer.
food?
We do have some supplies for you.
We have some carrot cake.
Hey, we had some carrot cake, and what's left is not to be bartered with. We may have some supplies for you. Who's all on the ship?
I am Benotto. I'm a worker from the Rock of Brawl. Me and my other workers, things aren't good in Brawl. We make next to nothing. We make coppers on the silver. And, well, they take derelicts, and we thought that, well, if there's a destroyed nautiloid out here, who would pay top dollar for that?
Where's the rest of your buddies?
They're below the
they're,
decks.
Why don't
They're-
you,
While they're having this conversation,
What?
Tin Man's already like pulling out some rations for him.
why don't
and some
you
water.
call them up top here? Every single one of them. Have them come out here.
I'm afraid they cannot. I'm the only one that can walk. The rest are famished. Most are still unconscious.
Really?
Tin Man's just
Where are they?
breaking off some ration for him, pouring him a thing of water from the water
All right.
skin.
Thank you.
Can I make an insight check?
Of course.
There's not even going to. There's people in need.
What are you trying to incite?
With us pressing, hey, bring everybody up, like the cautiousness. Does he seem disingenuous? Like, does it seem like a trap? Like, are there any hidden intent?
It's hard to tell because through his skin is sort of pulled tight on his face, so expressions aren't quite what you expect, especially from a human who you have, spent some time around, but not a considerable amount. If he seems disingenuous, you get the feeling it's because there's little energy left in his body.
Okay.
With a 13, it's difficult to determine either way, but you get the feeling that whatever he's saying, he believes it to be true.
I just want to look around the deck that we're on and see if there's any signs of struggle. Make sure his story's tracking what he said. If there's people downstairs that can't walk and they're unconscious, does it look like there's an attempt to drag bodies down there, or like move the wounded, or anything like that?
Sure. So right now you're out on the observation deck. You're not quite inside, but from what you see, this nautiloid has been through the hells, probably literally. But you can see that pretty much every ballista available has been destroyed. There's scorch marks along the side of it. Parts of the chitin have been broken free. And there is a mixture of purple and blue blood, or not blue, sorry, purple and red blood just spattered everywhere. You can see through with a 26 on the investigation. This door seems to be stuck open, the one next to you there, and you can see in the back is the corpse of a dead mind flayer laying headless on what looks like a chair-like throne, or throne-like chair.
Hey,
Does
buddy.
Tin Man get any feeling of like residual psionic energies, or anything that screams live aberrations?
Does
I would
Star get any indications of residual psionic energies?
I would like, Tin Man, you can help Czar make this check. So Czar, I would like you to roll an arcane check.
Ooh.
With advantage.
Okay.
Yes,
That's
with
good.
advantage.
God, I don't have a high bonus to that. It's going to be a 10.
So, knowing what you
Is that
know
with
about
advantage?
nautiloids, there's always going to be a residual psionic effect. You can feel that there does seem to be a residual pulse, but you cannot tell if it's the ship itself attempting to maintain some facsimile of life, or if it's just the ambient leavings of what was once an incredibly potent psionic crew.
Tin Man's gonna kind of nudge Valen. Keep him talking and cover our rear here, and then kind of like wave over to Czar and kind of just like nod once to Skarok just to kind of keep an eye on things.
And
But yeah, wave over Czar and kind of start making my way to the door.
Zar, you are in tree form, correct?
This car, dude, I'm a tree.
Scar.
I am a massive tree above all of you.
He couldn't come in if he wanted to.
I'm gonna, hey, cabin boy, that mind flare down there, that's your handiwork?
No, he was here when we aborted. We've been here for months, it feels like. It's been there since we got here. We believe, well, he looks around. It's probably Githyanki Raiders. Only they behead illithids like that.
Oh, I hope we don't run into any Gith.
Well, let's make this quick, guys. Why don't you lead me down below to
Yeah, if I may, I can lead you down.
yes, please.
Thank you for the food.
Please lead the way. And I'm going to like kind of like not take out my laser pistol, but like make sure it's easily accessible on my side.
Oh, Tin Man's rifle is in his hands. He's gonna kind of like, if y'all see anything that skitters about, looks even remotely like a tadpole, you unload.
On sight. I'm out, shield and sword.
I should note that we have something locked in the cargo holds. It killed one of us when we arrived, but we think we have it stuck there.
It?
It?
Alright.
We don't know what
It?
it is.
Okay.
It killed with claws and teeth. That's all I can say.
Mark, I am going to use one of my level 1 spell slots and cast Goodberry. And with me being in tree form, I am going to basically have the kind of teal lichen that grows up on my branches kind of glows, and as it does, you see what look like blue cherries that glow and that kind of pulse with a little bit of teal and green color. But you see 10 of them appear, and I'm gonna have one of them just fall off, or kind of throw it towards the famished guy, and have him eat one of them. Yeah.
Good. Typically, I make it a rule not to consume that which comes from another creature, but hey. And he takes a bite out of it. Oh, this is delicious.
You're gonna be a vegan now on death's doorstep.
No, I mean something that comes from another creature's body, grown outside of it.
And he's talking to you while he's eating it. There's some vibe to it that I don't really fully agree with either. But let me have one of those berries. I want to take some down below with me.
Yeah, a brilliant idea. May we, Sir Tree?
That
His
sounds
name
good.
is
You can call him
Scar.
that, actually. Sir Tree, may we have a few of your berries, please?
That you may. And I shake the so I can
My
create
man
up
has
10
gone full
berries.
giving tree.
Yeah. So yeah, no. Does the other 9 berries fall to Tin Man and Valen?
All right. So Tin Man, Valen, you each have a combination or a total of 9 berries amongst the two of you.
All right.
Skarok,
Alright.
are you moving in with them, or are you staying as a tree outside? Also, you have a ghost behind you, bud.
I am staying as a tree, and yeah.
Okay. You're gonna hold down the deck.
Yep.
All right. Valen, Tin Man, and Czar. As you continue into the Nautiloid, you do see, as you get closer, the remains of a long dead, decapitated mind flayer laying in the chair, dead. Um,
Tin Man does not
Ugh.
take his eyes off it for a minute.
you're both watching it closely then?
No, I'm
Yeah,
moving
quite.
down. I'm moving down as I see they have it covered.
All right. So
I think I
Valen,
made it clear before. Tin Man is not comfortable around aberrations. Period. And
Bonotto
apparently not
leads
Faye
you.
either.
Bonotto leads you weakly down the stairs, seeming to have regained some strength with the meal, between the rations and the good berries, and manages to walk you down. He moves
Slowly
past.
now, cabin boy.
I was a farmer on the Rock of Brawl, but thank you for the food. He seems distracted as he walks down and makes a hard turn down this hallway. You can see as you step down here, the walls are lined with membranous, fleshy walls that look much like the doors above. One of
I like
them,
it. Eh.
one of them, right here at the very end, is from each side. You can see hooks that look like grappling hooks, gouged into the chitin with ropes run across it to keep this thing shut. It is boarded up as well. And as you pass, you feel something tickle your mind. Hello? Hello, is there someone there?
It's coming behind that door.
Correct. And it does not seem as though Bonotto can hear it.
You say it tickled our minds or just Valence?
Just Valens, you're still upstairs at the moment. You're passing the mind flare.
I will not say anything other than, you know what's good, you'll stay quiet.
You're with them, aren't you?
And then
My name is Jasper Graves.
And then I will ask cabin boy, is that it behind the door there?
You see Bonotto's face fall as he realizes that whatever's behind the door was speaking to you. You could see his face twist in anger and fury as he runs up to the door and starts banging on it. No! The bastard in there took my friends!
And then I'm gonna grab him by the neck and like pull him back. And
You can see as he's still wildly trying to swing at the door. The thing ate their brains.
And then
It uses his voice to torment us.
I'm gonna pull a knife out to his neck and I'm gonna tell him, quiet.
Are you working with it?
And then I'm not gonna say anything else or really think of anything else other than the Starfire pack that I used to recite at Scout Elf Camp as a kid. Over and over in
Tin
my head.
Man and Zara, as you head down these steps, you can see Valen holding Benotto with a knife to his throat, facing the door.
Oh,
You heard the
Valen, we're
outburst.
here on an SOS.
I'm gonna
It means
just
rescue,
I'm
not capture.
I'm gonna turn around with the knife at his throat and then bring my finger up and go shh, and then turn back to the door.
That's an odd response to when I speak to you telepathically, but okay.
Czar.
Yeah.
As Valen tells you to shush, you hear a voice tickle your mind.
God.
Hello? Is someone out there? My name is Jasper Graves. This is my last spell slot. The individuals on this ship are not what they seem.
Fine.
Have you ever heard of Sirlons?
You all right there, buddy? You're kind of got my gun out, like
believe-
half trained on Valen. You all right there?
I'm in a notion to Tin Man. Point to my antennas.
Everybody's being quiet.
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable
Why?
right now.
The Mind Flayer servants are left on this ship. They're luring you down. They say they have captives, but those in the basement are already dead. How many did he say died?
He said they were all famished.
I bet they are quite hungry.
Tin Man's just completely confused because everyone's dead silent right now.
I'm gonna send an echo of what I'm hearing into Tin Man's brain if I can do that.
I'll have you make
Alex, you're muted.
I'll have you make an Arcana save.
I'm still close enough to hear them, correct? Or like,
You can hear them through the floor, yes.
But again, it's like dead silent. Nobody's talking.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Mark. I rolled a 0.
So, as you attempt to connect to Tin Man, you realize that whatever's connecting to you is mighty powerful on the psionic front and sort of overwhelms your ability to make the psionic connection to others. This could be the result of a particularly upcharged psionic spell as he's attempting to reach into your mind and speak to you. But it could also be an inherent ability of some creature. You're unsure.
All right.
But you
Mark?
do know what Sirlons are. Yes, Scarab.
I'm going to burn another level 1 spell slot to use my ranger ability of primeval awareness. You can expend 1 ranger spell slot to focus your awareness on the region around you for 1 minute per level of the spell slot. So that's just 1 minute. You can sense whether the following types of creatures are present within 1 mile of you. Aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead.
Basically, sort of built-in detect good and evil.
And does it specify does it have to specify what those creatures are? Like what category they fall into?
Yes, it says this feature doesn't reveal the creature's location or number, but it does reveal what type.
Cool. Then let me do a little bit of quick research.
He's got to double check his own notes. Okay, well, while you're doing that, because Tin Man is very much in the dark here, DM, is it possible that I can do an insight check on Valen to make sure he's in his right mind? Because we've had issues with that in the past.
Absolutely.
I just turn around.
I am gonna lean in though, and ask, Cabin Boy,
Our dice are being manipulated.
how many did you say died here?
I didn't say any died. I said they were famished. We lost. And he's starting to realize jig is up.
Mm-hmm.
Tin Man is still not getting any of this. Valen, I understand if you're not feeling comfortable around this gentleman right now.
I'm gonna chime up into Tin Man's head and say, Valen's got a point here. The guy's lying.
Skarok, as you extend your awareness to those unlike things you've seen before, unlike the normal terrestrial types that you are familiar with, you sense aberrations. Many.
Czar, Tin Man's gonna kind of go real quiet for a second. We're dealing with something psionic here, ain't we?
So, kind of flavor it. I will just say that Skarok, as the teal glow of the lichen spreads out through his roots, and it just pulses through the ship, and not really like locating it, but as if it was like noise. You just see patterns of red go through, like as if, we're not alone. There are.
Okay, Tin Man is having a really hard time reading Valen right now, but he also knows that the moment aberrations are involved, his ability to pin down anything goes out the friggin' window. I'm gonna check insight on Czar, just to make sure that I don't feel like my entire crew has gone mad.
Go ahead and roll your insight.
Am I
I trusting Czar on this?
Czar, do you think he should trust you?
Yeah. I believe 100% what I'm saying is true. And I asked him, and Tin Man heard him stammer over his response to my question of how many people did you say you lost here? He said none were just infamished, but we lost, and then he dropped his act.
It's as he drops his act, Valen, you feel the human beneath your hands expand. And your knife bites into a leathery skin as this creature's head turns into a more uniform worm-like shape.
I just start cutting as quickly as I can while it's transforming.
I'm going to have you make 3 attacks with your dagger.
Okay.
And the rest of you, well, everyone, gets to be shown the wonders of the Surlot. You can switch over to bio and info. That's, if you can see the stat block, it's not particularly relevant anyway.
That's disgusting.
Oh man.
Czar and Tin Man, you know Surlons as a particularly malicious folk that feed on the remains of most creatures. They are typically malicious and conniving and witty individuals who use their intellect to lure folk to their dooms and utilize their great psionic capabilities to both partner with and occasionally work for mind flayers.
So I'll say this. Tin Man was already very trigger happy to begin with coming on here.
Yes, you said you had your weapon in your hand.
I had my weapon trained on Valen. If I'm trusting Czar, then the moment this thing makes a move, I'm training my weapon on it.
My weapon's already drawn at it.
Each of you, with the exception of Scarrock, who is upstairs, will get a surprise round. Valen, you've made 1 attack with your well, you haven't rolled the attack. I'd like you to roll the attack with
advantage. I don't have dagger
advantage.
set up to attack with it, so...
Okay, then roll your normal attack, and we'll just change the damage.
Okay.
It's like your longsword attack.
Why isn't it... Oh, there it is. 1 at a 7, 2 at a 24, and 3 at a 8.
All right, so as this thing expands in your arms, you quickly make to stab it a few times before it can break itself free. One of your hits lands and strikes true. I'd like you to roll damage for that attack. Tin Man and Czar, you will each get your attacks. This will be the last thing we do with this session.
3 damage.
All right,
Does
Czar.
20 hit?
Make it count.
20 hits.
Cool. He's gonna take...
Yes.
16.
That's a big hit, my boy.
It's a huge hit. And Tin Man, round us out.
He's taking that plus...
Oh, right.
Plus another 5.
Because of the sneak attack, because you have your advantage.
And he's the only enemy within 5 feet.
Ooh, a dirty 20. The odds are
How's a
ever
dirty
in
20
your
look?
favor.
30-20 looks good. Same with Czar. What are you doing, my guy? Roll the damage, my guy.
Let's
A
go.
pretty little 9.
Tin Man, how would you like to do this?
Yeah.
Woo!
So yeah, Tin Man's been anxious since you got here. He does not like aberrations. He does not like psionics.
Sorry.
He was taught that from a young age, let's say. So, like I said, the moment I look up at Czar and I've got reason to believe that there is something afoot, literally just turn right and see this thing just... Valen's going to town on it. Don't even get a moment to breathe before Czar is jumping in. I'm like, All right, we're doing this now.
All right. You level your rifle and pull the trigger. The creature falls limp in your arms, Valen, as it slumps to the floor and dies. And I think that's where we'll call it for the night.
Woo! Let's go!
Oh, it is so good to be back, guys.
Yes.
Ooh.
Ah,
It is
That was
so
a lot
good
of
to be
fun.
back. You cur.
Yeah.
We're back!
reprehensible cur.
Hey,
You
guys.
reprehensible bastard.
Hey, guys. Great episode. It feels so good to be back. This was so much fun. I can't wait. I think we're going to have a behind the scenes next week. And then we'll
Yep.
be back with episode 2 in 2 weeks on Monday. Thanks for tuning
worry.
in. Mark,
Next week
take
we're
us
going over
away.
all of Czar's hate mail.
Yeah.
Take us away.
All right. Thanks so much for being here. Don't forget to wash your dice, and we'll see you in the stars.
See you guys later.